There's Melissa, we're good.
All right, do I have a motion? We go back into session, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Next item on the agenda has to do with the county administration, and those are the monthly or semi-monthly bills that we pay. So,
Judge,
Magistrate Eldridge?
Judge, I'd like to motion that we pay the payables, but I'd like two exclusions. The first exclusion would be for $2,000 to Cess Funeral Home. That was for an indigent burial that it's my understanding that has not gone before Mr. Carter yet. The second exclusion would be for $74,559.50, which is to the Extension Office. And if they are going to go their own way, then I don't feel like we should be adding to that.
Are you making a motion?
He made a motion.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded, the two items be excluded from the payables, one being an indigent burial that has not been researched by the county attorney's office as to whether or not the service was actually for an indigent individual. And the other item was $74,000 on the payables for the county support for the Extension District. Is that a quarterly payment?
Yes, sir.
Right, that's a quarterly payment, right? As of quarterly beginning from what period to what period?
This one would cover July, August, and September.
Magistrate Tice.
So we can have discussion on the motion is if we don't support the Extension Office, even if they do choose to go forward, how are they going to make ends meet until the first of the year or whenever they start to get their revenue flow in?
I think that that could be agreed to, and I would not have any problem with paying the money to the Extension Office, but if they're going to be having their own revenue stream, we need to have an agreement in place to where when their revenue stream starts, we get that money reimbursed. And as of today, we don't have that in place.
can we remove that from this payables list?
Yes.
Get some of that research done and then bring it back up at the next meeting? That seems to make the most sense.
And I'm okay with that, thank you.
Mr. Greenwald?
I just want to reiterate that I don't want to leave them high and dry, but we need to work out an arrangement, and I'm sure we can do that.
Yes, I agree.
Magistrate Hounds.
It's related to this. This is the first time we've gotten the new report, and I don't know about everybody else, but it has a lot more data on it. Makes it easier to make decisions and ask questions about it.
And in that line, I'd like to thank Melissa and Jessica and everybody that worked on that. It is a much greater report, easier to read, better information.
Yes.
And along that same line, same line, that this is what I've been complaining about wanting for the last 6 years. I mean, thank you, Melissa, and everyone else that got involved. This really does tell me a lot more. Thank you.
I think this has to do with is this based on our new accounting system?
Yes.
Right. It was able to generate this additional information, all right? Are there any other, the motion now is to remove the indigent burial and also to remove the Extension District payment. And between now and I guess the next meeting, we'll try to, as soon as possible, seek agreement from them to reimburse fiscal court contributions for the current fiscal year that are received prior to the distribution of tax revenue.
Correct.
Agree.
I do believe that they intended their tax to go in effect this fiscal year, this physical year, actually. Because the tax payable in November is really for the current calendar year. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-1. All right, next item here is the audit engagement letter. Mr. Clark?
Okay, what you have in front of you is the engagement letter for the audit that we awarded to RWH. This is a typical agreement, and basically what this engagement letter does is outlines what their responsibility are, what they are doing, what their procedures are, what they're not doing in representing. And at the same time, it's what we, the management of the county, what we are responsible for, what we agree to. It's standard engagement letter. It's mainly to communicate clearly with the people that are being audited that, you know, they look at records, but they don't look at every record. They will bring internal control weaknesses forward if they find them, but they're not going to guarantee that your internal control system doesn't have a defect in it. And so, so it's more a outline of what the engagement is. We're asking for permission for the judge to sign this engagement letter. And in this thing, their fee is based on their standard hourly rate plus a reimbursement of expenses, but it's guaranteed not to exceed $12,925. So, you know, it may come in for less because we will probably prepare and provide them more than, even though we represent it, we would be giving them full financials and doing all the work. I think we're going to be providing them more than they even expect. So anyway, without reading the 5-page letter, I'll just answer any questions if anybody has, but it's pretty standard.
All right. Is there a motion that we accept this, go ahead and sign this contract with Roy Hunter and Associates?
Second.
Any discussion on it? Magistrate Eldridge.
I just wondered, it doesn't make any difference to me, but do we need a rewrite on the contract because it says they were starting on July 15th?
I guess not. They've sent some stuff to us, and we actually are well along the way preparing, and so we're right at the point where, you know, probably later this week I'll be sending them information, and we'll sit down for our first meeting. So as soon as this is like beginning of the step. So.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next item has to do with a job description for Emergency Management Director, Tina Schaaf. Is here to discuss that.
Good afternoon. Before you all is the newly created, or the revised, actually, job description for the Emergency Management Director. Kevin Nuss was the Emergency Management Director, plus he was also the Director for Dispatch. So we're separating that out into a full-time position. We're not adding to the head count, however, because we took Tim Keel, and he is over at he's the Dispatch Director. And this person would be Emergency Management solely, and there's not an Assistant Director now at Dispatch.
Judge?
So,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
But this job is a full-time job, and it's been revised to show the new duties for a full-time Emergency Management Director.
Judge, the Human Resources Committee has met and gone over this job description, and we'd like to present it for approval to fiscal court.
Moved and seconded that the Emergency Management Director's job description be approved. Is there any discussion or question on it? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item here is the Road Committee. We have a bid award, dump truck. We have some bids on that to open.
No.
I guess we did already open them. Go ahead. Measure Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. The road committee met today and met and decided to recommend to award the contract for two dump trucks snowplow equipped to Ewell and Company in Louisville for $124,859.74. And we are going to try a new method of delivery in the stainless steel salt beds. And it's an auger system versus a chain and slat system, and it's an extra $3,000.58 per unit. And we voted to recommend those also for both the trucks.
Second?
Moved and seconded that we accept a bid from Ewell Truck Sales for, is it two trucks?
That's correct.
Right. Two trucks totaling 120.
No, two trucks, two times, yes.
Are there any questions about this? I have a question here. I mean, Ewell was not the low bidder here, so.
They are not the low bidder, Judge. There was a $1,743.74 difference between the two trucks. And we have 10 international trucks in our fleet already, and I think that's right. And anyway, this will just keep our parts inventory and everything a whole lot simpler. While there is a difference in the price to the higher, it'll make things simpler in the long run.
Are you sure it's 1,700?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, it's 125.57 versus 124.859.
When the two trucks are comparably equipped, there's an add-on of $2,559 for the Kentucky Truck Sales truck to be compared apples and apples with the Ewell truck.
All right, okay, thank you.
And the Kentucky Truck Sales trucks were Freightliners, which the trucks we have in stock are internationals.
Correct.
Okay. Any other discussion on this? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. All right, our next item here is another bid award, and that's the petitions at the John Black Community Center. Tim Curtis has that information.
Judge, Fiscal Court, last Fiscal Court meeting, we opened bids for the operable partitions, which is the sliding walls at the John Black Community Center. We received 4 bids, 3 of which met the specifications for the walls we sent out, 1 of which did not. So I'd like to recommend that we award the bid to U.S. Specialties in the amount of $36,520.
I'd like to make that motion, Judge.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion on this? Guess I didn't make the committee meeting, so I'm asking the same questions here. They're not the low bidder by
Correct. There was 3 bids that,
$1,000 here, yeah.
the 3 bids, U.S. Specialties, Open Spaces, and Schiller Hardware, were the exact specifications that we sent out in the bid package. The one sent by OK Interiors, which was the lowest bid, was not the same product. And so I called them and emailed them. They said they would send me the specs on what they were proposing, and they never sent it. And that was over a week ago. But it was not the same product. It was not a comparable product as to what we had bid out.
I see. Okay. All right.
That's why we don't necessarily, we take the best bid, not necessarily.
Right, I agree. Take the best bid, not necessarily the lowest. All right, any further discussion on it? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Now we're at board appointments and personnel actions here. Tina, it doesn't pay to sit in the back of the room.
Get my steps in.
All right.
There you go. Okay, the first item is a new hire, Jerry Nauert, as our Emergency Management Director at $37,393 per year, at 30 hours per week, and that's going to be effective tomorrow. He has, you all have his resume in your packets.
Judge, I'd like to make the motion that we hire Jerry Nart. You said it wrong.
I did.
You did.
Second, for the single syllable NART.
Rhymes with dart. Okay. All right, moved and seconded that Jerry Nart be hired as our Emergency Management Director, and we'll be happy to provide the Oldham area with a copy of his resume. Very experienced in the state police and in the Coast Guard and the public affairs, so I think we're excited about having Jerry join our team here. Any discussion, any further discussion?
We said earlier, I believe, that it was not a new hire.
It's not a new,
It's not an additional hire, but it's a new, thank
Exactly.
you. Because I got it now, but I was messed up on the other way we phrased it. Thank you.
All right, any other discussion?
Tina, earlier you said it was a full-time position, and we're calling it a part-time position. So it is
it is a
full-time,
full-time
part-time?
position, but Mr. Nart is going to come work for us for 30 hours a week.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Thank you. All right.
Then we have 2 retirements from the police department. The first one is a Major Greg Collette. That was effective yesterday, July 31st. And he's leaving us after 30 years.
I'll make that motion with regret.
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? All right, all in favor of this retirement with regret, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
And the second one is Major Jimmy Latham. His retirement is also effective 7/31, and that was with 21 years with us.
I'll also make that motion with regret.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor of accepting this retirement with regret, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
The next item is a promotion in planning and zoning, planning and development, sorry. It's Brooke Radcliffe, promoting her to senior planner at $39,780 per year, and that's effective July 1st.
A planner two or senior planner?
They're both the same. It's a
Same-
senior
same
planner.
thing,
Mhm.
synonymous, all right.
So moved.
Motion, Judge.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion here? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
I have one more. I had a new hire this morning at the Parks Department, a building monitor that Tim needs down there. It's Carson Strunk at $7.40 an hour, and that'll be effective tomorrow.
So moved.
All right, moved and seconded that we hire Carson
Strunk.
Strunk, S-T-R-U-N-K.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. As a building monitor at the community center. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're down to our second public comment here of the meeting, and if Jim Urban would like to come up and correct anything he said earlier, he's...
Just add two, sir.
Oh, add two, all
Yeah,
right.
I did hear back that the traffic signal heads will have dedicated left turn arrows.
Okay.
There aren't any signs, there aren't any out there today. Pavement has always worked, even with the stop situation, so have not heard back on the amount that our contribution is going to be to those non-standard materials.
Well, signage on pavement, I guess, is, the one that gets me is a little bit, is down there at the former Spaghetti Junction. You know, you're coming past the hospital, and one says 65 and another says 71. They're painted on the road. I think that's great if you're sitting in a semi, but on the, you know, in the car, it's not quite as clear, but it works, I guess.
Well, the arrows are out there today without signs, and again, it's
Judge, can I comment on that?
Yes.
Sorry. I've ridden with you, and I understand why the 65 and 75 runs together. I'm going to dismiss myself. So that's somewhere you really shouldn't went today, okay?
I understand.
Okay.
Any other commenters here today? I don't see any, so guess we'll close public comment and we'll kind of wind up our meeting here today. Magistrate Logston wasn't able to be with us today, but Magistrate Dye, do you have a final parting comment?
Yes, I do. Again, in Crestwood by the DQ, the construction continues. I don't believe it's going to be done by school. It's be very close, but they're moving along quite rapidly. I think it might, but I just don't, just be careful out there.
Magistrate Eldridge?
Thank you, Judge. I was not able to make the retirement party for the two policemen, Officer Collette and Officer Latham. Just want to say thank you to them, especially to the Collettes. Mrs. Collette worked tirelessly in this courthouse for years and years. And then both the boys, Greg and Kevin, both have worked countless hours for this county as police officers. So great family, have done a lot for the county. Appreciate the Collette family and the Latham family. Thank you.
Magistrate Hound?
I'd like to echo similar comments, Magistrate Eldridge. When Greg Collette became an officer, I was just getting into the fire service, and I told him yesterday, I said, I understand why you're leaving, but I don't like it. He's always been very much a friend of the fire service and always been helpful to us. And I told Chief Smith yesterday, if there's anything we can do to help him out, that's going to leave a big hole in the police department, having two of your key command staff people leave like that.
Sure is. Magistrate Greenwell, we've already sung happy birthday once, so we probably won't do it again, but quit while you're ahead as far as that
I
goes.
appreciate everybody's sentiment. I, too, attended the retirement party for the two officers, and just quality individuals that will leave a huge void. I personally would like to see if there's not some way we can hire them back on a yearly contract myself. I don't know if that is even possible, but I'd like to just kind of pitch that out there as an idea.
I don't know. I think we're pretty well restricted, at least in the short run, by the 90 days. You can't have an agreement to go anywhere, and so forth with the retirement plan now. But I agree with you. They're very valuable officers. Agree with both comments, and will certainly be very missed. And perhaps someday we'll be back on some basis. Magistrate Leslie.
Yes, I attended the retirement party also, and wish both of them well. That's all.
Magistrate Tice.
On, nothing? Now, I think the school starts soon, doesn't it, Steve?
2 weeks from tomorrow.
From tomorrow.
So we will have another fiscal court meeting before school starts, and I will be reminding everybody of that.
Well, just remember where you heard it first, down here at number 2. Go ahead.
Okay, Magistrate Likens.
Thank you. I think I just wanted to announce they have Wolfstock at the Creasy Mayhem Center this Saturday, which is pets and butterflies. And I think we may have infringed upon the copyright laws singing Happy Birthday. The Hill Sisters invented the song Happy Birthday and still receive over $2 million a year in payments for that.
Well, I hope that we aren't subject to a royalty there for, or,
We can't have a lawsuit.
something for singing that. It was poorly sung by us, but well meant, so. Want to say before we wind up today that we had a wonderful Oldham County Day a couple of weeks ago. It was one of the best days of the year, and certainly one of the greatest Oldham County days, and appreciate the wonderful turnout from everyone. Don't forget our Oldham County Fair started today. Probably starts in an hour, 6 o'clock. I'm not sure when they open the gates, but a $10 entry fee gets you in for all the entertainment and all the rides that you can, participate with. I've been by there. It's quite, looks like a new fair almost. They've added a lot this year, many new rides. A lot of work's been done at the fairgrounds. So I hope people will turn out and enjoy the Oldham County Fair. Tonight, if you recall last week, we were all invited to come to a rodeo tonight. So if you have time and they're able, it would be something to attend. And don't forget you were invited. So when can't say you weren't. Anyway, take advantage of the fair and enjoy it. I can't think of anything else right now other than motion to adjourn. All right, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.